Everybody, welcome to our day 2. Thank you for joining. We'll continue with our 5 elements. We'll start with a little bit of mobilization. We'll then go through the 3 that we went through yesterday, and then we'll spend a little bit more time on the final 2 elements before we do a nice conclusion to the practice. Let's start off with a little bit of warm-up and mobilization. Take your feet about shoulder width apart. This is sort of like the standard stance when we're doing any of these flow movements. Shoulder width apart, a little bit of bend in the knees, nice and tall through the spine. And I want you to use the ground, so you're just gently pushing into the ground with the feet. And start to move the hips, so you're really using the lower body. And the idea is the lower body is really strong and doing the work, and then the spine and the upper body is just nice and relaxed. So keeping tall through the spine and just gradually build up the momentum. So this is working that spine element again and the rotation of the spine. Yesterday we did a little bit of flexion and extension. Today we're doing more rotation. Just letting the elbows bend, and you're just tapping across the belly and back. And the idea is to really keep tall, so keep lifting from the crown so you extend and rotate. And you're just breathing easy in and out through the nose. And this movement in the Qigong is called knocking on the door of life. And there's a point which is behind the belly button towards the back of the spine. And this is seen as the point where our original Qi or our original energy is stored. So if you think about it in terms of in utero, in before you're born, the umbilical cord connecting through the belly button. So we're tapping, if you just watch me from the back, and just tapping the back of my hand on the back of my spine. And it's great, obviously, just for bringing energy, blood flow, lymphatic drainage, and just warming up the muscles, lubricating the joints before we move into our flow sequence for this morning. And take a nice full breath in now through the nose, a bigger breath. And as you breathe out, slow this movement down, and it's almost like you're going into slow motion. And sort of imagine that the air, there's a little bit of density to the air around the body, and you're just pushing the arms and the hands through. There's just that little bit of resistance now as you're moving through that air. Which is lovely to do when you're outdoors, because you can actually feel, and indoors as well, but you can feel the air as it runs through the fingers, and the slower you go, the more you can feel that physical sensation. Nice. And then take a moment, and we'll do just that little bit of shaking. So you can either keep your feet flat on the ground and use the legs as pumps, or if you feel comfortable, to tap the heels into the ground. And you can shake as much or as little as you like, whatever you feel the body needs. You're breathing easy, shaking the wrists if that wants to. If you feel as if you want to bring that into the shake, letting the shoulders relax, upper body relax. And then we can take a couple of breaths. Cleansing and clearing, waking up. And then come to standing and sense the energy, the blood flowing through the body. tingling sensations. Just breathing light and easy, just natural breathing in and out through the nose. And then stepping out, let's go into our flows. So we'll go through the three flows, can't say that, 3 flows that we did yesterday. Just recap on those, and then I'll spend a little bit more time on the final 2 and the conclusion of today's class. So first, Buddha holds up the earth. So get that visualization, holding up the earth. And this is the metal element. And the metal element is focusing on energy, bringing energy into the body. And the first place we bring energy into the body is through the breath. We often think of food, obviously, as a source of energy, but actually breath is the first source of energy. And whilst we can do without food for a certain amount of time, we can't do without the oxygen and the breath for too long. And with these movements, with all of the flow movements, the movement and the breath is fluid, soft, rhythmical, smooth, all of these nice words. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then just taking a moment before we move into the fountain. Breathing in. Breathing out. I'm guiding the breath with these movements, but the breath should feel really comfortable. So if you start to feel as if you are getting short of breath or struggling with the breath, then just breathe easy in and out lightly through the nose. Don't feel you have to breathe in a particular way. Now really emphasize that the breath should be light. It's not forcing the breath or breathing too much air. Fountain is water element, and really bringing awareness to the fluidity, the relaxation. What I find really pleasing and nice about the Qigong practice is that when I'm doing this movement or any of the particular flows, you can have that sense of relaxation. And then it's not that you'll be doing this exact same movement throughout the day, or if you're walking, or if you're running, or if you're exercising, but you can still bring that emotion, that feeling of relaxation that you get from these Qigong movements. And then moving into the next element of wood, hands facing up, tree sways in the wind. So we rotate one side, come up the outside of the body. Point to the crown of the head with your middle fingers. That's a really good way of lengthening the spine up. And then shedding the leaves. Now this movement can look quite robotic, and it can look as if you're starting and stopping, but I still want you to get that sense of flow to the movement. So the movement never stops. It's a continuous movement. But with the wood, we're bringing in that idea of strength and flexibility. So you can see there's a real strength in the structure of our tall spine, of our connection to the ground, but there's flexibility in that rotation through the spine. And breath with this one. There's a slight lull at the bottom of the breath, and then breathe in. And it's that lull at the top of the breath, breathe out. Little pause, breathe in. Breathe out. And remember, when we're pausing or going to the top of the breath, it's not like holding or stopping. It's, if you imagine like a wave crashing onto the shore, as it slows and then returns, it eases in and then eases out. Nice, first 3 movements that we worked on yesterday. So the fourth element is fire, and we'll bring one hand facing your heart, facing your chest. So that hand is facing forwards there. You see the space here, so I'm not really close here. There's a little bit of space there. And the other hand is following this hand. This is called cloudy hand. So if you imagine this hand as a cloud, this hand is the shadow of the cloud. The movement comes from the lower body. So the waist moves, so you get like a figure of 8 with the waist, and then the arms and the upper body follow, or the upper body and the arms follow, and then you swap. And then you swap. And swap. So there's a little bit of shift side to side. Again, this can become quite robotic. You can get there and then swap, and then get there. I've done it wrong. You can get there and swap. But what we want to get is that flow of that changeover, of that movement there. Keep lifting tall through the spine. And this element is the fire element. So really focusing on the heart meridian. So you're crossing the heart center here. And a really positive energy and emotion of enjoyment. So really maybe visualize something that you enjoy doing, that you've really enjoyed, that's really made you feel and satisfied and good and safe and relaxed. And this always reminds me, and a few of you here on Zoom will remember when we were in Costa Brava last year and we did this on the beach as the sun was rising, and it's just like so amazing. And I just got tingles down the back of my neck again then thinking about that. And the breath with this is just easy. Just breathe lightly. You shouldn't even notice the breath. So soft and light and effortless. Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the face muscles. Relaxing the eye sockets. Sensing that inner smile. Inner warmth. A little bit of weight shift and that subtle figure of 8 of the hips. Lightness of the spine. Nice, and then take a rest there. And the final element of the 5 elements is the earth element. The earth element is about grounding, centering, feeling safe and feeling stable. And this is called Pebble in the Pond. It's a really good visualization again, is that you imagine yourself as a pebble just lightly dropping in the pond, and then that ripple moving out from that pebble, then coming back to center. And there's a little bit of a weight shift towards the heels. The hips subtly glide back. Again, I don't want to give you too much instruction because again, it's not as if we're doing an exercise or a particular movement as such. But just get that sense, feel what happens with the whole body as you shift that center of gravity. And I'll just show you from the side, so keep watching from the front. If I just show you from the side, you can see there's just that little bit of a weight shift. And there's a little robin sat outside there, and it's just flown away. That was nice, he was watching me. Breath out as that ripple moves outwards, and breath in as you're bringing that energy back to the center. Breath out. And there's a point which is a different point to the door of life, but there's a point just below the belly button and just in towards the spine. So where you're sort of like coming to here in those lower abdomen area. And this is seen as your physical energy center in Qigong. And this is called the lower dantian. So it's almost like you are gathering energy and just bringing it, centering yourself. Bringing that focus and attention to the physical energy center. And from a logical point of view, this is your body's center of gravity when you're just standing in a comfortable position. So it makes total sense to use this area as an idea of centering and grounding. And then I'd like you just to place your hands over that lower dantian. Bring your feet together. And if it feels comfortable for you, just close your eyes for a few moments. And just let the body, let yourself bring itself back to balance. So allowing yourself to rock and sway and spiral. Noticing how you're feeling after our practice this morning. And then taking a breath in through the nose, a nice fuller breath in through the nose. At the top of that breath, opening your eyes, stepping out, perhaps giving yourself a little brush down, or if you feel you need a little bit of an extra stretch, taking a stretch. Brilliant, we've gone through the 5 elements, which is really good because it means for the next 3 days, for tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we can spend time repeating that practice. So we'll just go repeat and repeat and repeat, and I'll give you fewer and fewer directions, if you like. So that's when the magic starts to happen, hopefully, when you can just really get into that flow and settle into that sort of like subconscious breath and subconscious movement. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good day. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.